Okay, hello folks, and welcome back to another authentic video game session with Palooza. And I'm going to be, as you can see, we're going to be doing things different today. We're not going to be doing the Sega Genesis. We have the baby Nintendo and the mommy Nintendo. The fat Nintendo and the small Nintendo. As you can see, this is the controller that goes with the second model and the first model. Now, usually I play my games on this one, but since I have to use AV wires, I'm going to try to play it on this one. I don't know how good the pins are, but the challenge is to try to beat this game before that system decides to freeze up on me, because I'm not sure. This game's in pretty new condition, as you can see. Now let's first take a look at the box art. Knight Rider. Knight Rider just happens to be one of my favorite 80s television shows. I don't know if any of you seen it or not, but it's a great show. And the box art, Acclaim always had pretty cool box art. You can see Kit right on the front cover. It has a nice fire effect in the background. You can see the light right in front of the car. It looks just like Kit as you drive the car from the hit TV series Knight Rider. Now you go on the back of the cover. You can see the Nintendo seals right there. That means you're guaranteed to buy something decent. For the most part, that didn't happen, because a lot of Nintendo games are crappy, but as you can see from the screenshots, this game is one of my favorite old racing games. And I can tell you that if I was to compare it to something else, I would probably say it's similar to Outrun, except it's not constant. Like, you're not racing straight through. You're racing from environment to environment to environment, and has a map. Maybe similar to Cruising USA, something like that, except a real older version. You're the kit car. There's two modes. You can either do a mode where you're shooting at cars, you have weapons, or there's a drive mode, which is my favorite because I don't care about the shooting part. But I will show you guys the shooting part. I'm going to open up the box for you guys so you can see what's inside. No. Okay, so as you can see, I opened the box up. It's nothing but cardboard. I'm not a fan of cardboard box arts or cardboard game containers, whatever you want to call them, because, you know, they get damaged, as you can see. It's not perfect. It does get crushed. So what exactly is inside the box is the cartridge, which looks beautiful, as you can see. It's a nice shiny shape. It looks identical to the box itself for the most part. You see Kit on the front of the cartridge. Then you also have the manual, which is also nice. On the back, you got a few advertisements for one of those old school Acclaim wireless controllers. I remember those back in the day. I never tried one out. I'm not sure if they're actually good or not, but they also have those available for the Sega Genesis too. And they do cost an arm and a leg if you find them. I'm not sure how good they work, but I researched it once, and I think you have to like sit directly in front of the system, because it works similar to like a remote control for a television or something, a DVD. And of course we have a few other things here. You can subscribe to Nintendo Power from 1988. So if you could travel back in time, let me see here. Yes, if you travel back in time, you can actually get a magazine's description to this. It's like in the old school Nintendo Powers, they have like little maps for the NES games, and they show you where to go, things like that. So I remember reading those at my library. This is some registration card. That's interesting. You can register your game and have a warranty. They ask you for your name, your address, whatnot. Name of the game pack, which is the cartridge. So 3D World Runner, Winter Games, WrestleMania, there's a few other games on there. And it also asks you what computer game system do you own. Atari 2600, Atari 7800, Atari XL. They have Sega, but they don't say which one, and they also have Nintendo and Mattel. And they don't have an ColecoVision or an Atari 5600. Did Acclaim actually make Atari 2600 games? Okay, let's try the game out. Hopefully it works. I have to hook up a few controllers and let's test it out and see if it works out. Okay, so here I am trying to get the game working, and as you can see, my Nintendo Entertainment System is a little worn out. Haven't played it in a while. It does have a new was it 72 pin connection? It has a new pin inside, but that was from about 5 years ago, 4 years ago. And as you can see, I got the game working finally. And right at the title screen, you could actually see Kit and David Hasselhoff standing next to his Kit car. Now I'm gonna show off the mission mode, which is basically the same as the driving mode, except you can actually shoot. And you can have a couple of different weapons. You have a gun, a laser. As you can see here, you have carousels that shoot at you, which is different from the regular driving mode. This is the mission mode. One thing that's nice about this game is somehow whoever developed this game, I guess Acclaim, they did a pretty good job with the graphics, because as you go from one place to the other, you can actually tell the difference, like the background, the high-rises of the buildings. You can see like the buildings that you would see in a specific city, they actually put into the background. And if you go to a certain region in the country that has like snow, you can actually see snow. There's certain areas that have helicopters. They did a good job when it came to the graphics. And I'm not a fan of the mission mode. I mean, the mission mode has a lot more stuff to it, because you can shoot. You have a car shooting at you. You can see the dashboard actually very complex for a Nintendo game. So you have your gas gauge, just S, which I believe is the shield. You have a time limit, which you can also, if you run into where the yellow cars are, you can actually pick up more time. And there's also trucks that are black colored. That also give you gas and whatnot. Now when you're in the mission mode, you can also pick up lasers, missiles, and all that type of stuff also. As you can see, my shield completely drained out because I kept crashing or something was going on. I kept getting shot. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to restart the system. And I'm going to go into regular drive mode. Because you can see all the credits starting up. So you can see David Hasselhoff right there. And Bonnie. Just a kit card. And the regular driving mode's it's a bit easier. You don't have no car shooting at you. For me, it's a little bit more fast paced. As you can see here, you have to try to get from the beginning to the end. And if you see where your speedometer is, below it there's a gas gauge that tells you how much gas you have left. Now below that there's a little gauge with a little red square that tells you how far you are on the track, which means the further that little red square goes up to the end, that means you're closer to the end of the track, to your goal. And that's how you tell how far you are from the end of this particular race. Not a race, but from start to finish. And as you can tell, I'm a little bit past halfway. Now, over on the other side, you have a time limit. And as you can see, I just gained a little bit more time by driving in behind those yellow vehicles. Sometimes they give you time, extra time, they give you an extra life sometimes. It really depends. Sometimes they don't give you anything and they fool you, then they basically screw you because they slow you down by doing that. But any of the yellow vehicles are yellow colored. Mostly the ones that look like this, but yellow colored versions of those vehicles. Those vehicles will give you time, like this vehicle right here will give you gas sometimes. As you can see, he gave me a little bit more shield. And as you can see, you can also jump. If you push either the A or B button, your vehicle can actually leap up in the air. So if you're in a situation where you're going to crash and you're near the end of the track and you're running out of time, just jump over the vehicles, get over to the other side and try to keep going. And as you can see, this is the end of this track right here. Some of the best winning screen music on the Nintendo Entertainment System, as you can see. The sound effects are pretty good too. Okay, I believe this is supposed to be Seattle. As you can see in the background, you can actually see like some of the buildings that are really from the particular location. Now this car right here is yellow, so guys, you can see if you bump into it, I got extra time. Now in my opinion, this game is heavily underrated on the Nintendo Entertainment System, because, you know, there's a lot of other racing games on the old Nintendo that gained a lot more popularity than this particular racing game. As you can see, that car was yellow, but it screwed me. It didn't give me nothing at all, and it just took off real fast. So that does happen in this It's a gas truck. It gives you a little bit of gas for shield. That time it gave me a shield. Now usually your shield doesn't wear out in drive mode. If you're in mission mode, you have to be really careful with your shield because you can get shot at. And your shield drains down a lot more. As you can see here, there's a yellow vehicle. And I just gained a little bit more time. And the more time you can gain, the better it is, because you can reach the end of the track easier. Here's another yellow vehicle. And as you can see, that one was playing games with me. It was phony. You can also see that I'm a little bit halfway through the track. So I got a ways to go before I get to the end. Just look how complex the dashboard is. It's pretty crazy that they were able to pull that off on the Nintendo Entertainment System. This is a racing game. It's in first-person view. You can actually see on top the little light that's going back and forth, the red light. That's actually on the kit car. So when you think about it, this game is actually, for a racing game back in the 80s, it was actually pretty good. They actually put a lot of detail into it, a lot of effort, to say the least, because of all the... Just the dashboard alone is very complex, and the graphics on the track moves very nicely. I mean, the vehicles, of course, they don't look the greatest, but the gameplay is actually pretty good as well. I mean, the gameplay, you can't justify how the game plays unless you play it yourself. I mean, you can sit there and look at it, and it looks, okay, well, this game looks boring. You're going to have to try the game out, because at first glance, yeah, it looks just like any other old racing game, but the game itself is actually pretty good. And as you can see, I had reached the end of the track. And once you reach the end of this track, you have to, now we're in Salt Lake. So we went from Seattle to Salt Lake, which is where we are at right now. And this is pretty similar, in my opinion, to Outrun, because in Outrun, well, Outrun's straight through. You don't see no menus or anything between the transitions of going from city to city, but in Outrun, you actually drive, you decide if you want to take a left or a right turn. Depending on which turn you take, it sends you into a different city, different environment. This game doesn't have that, but it does have the different environments. That for the NES, it looks beautiful. So you can see the mountains in the background, the sky. You can see the desert on each side of the tracks, with a few rocks here and there. You can see that the track actually moves very fast. I'd say this is probably one of my favorite Nintendo Entertainment System games. And when I was younger, my father had the Nintendo Entertainment System. And I used to watch him play it. He had this game, he had Back to the Future. Back then, people really didn't know whether a game was bad or not. You know, they saw, well, Back to the Future, the box art looked pretty cool. So hey, what the hell, let's buy the game. And even though it was a bad game, it was a piece of crap. It was very challenging and very hard. And I would always remember him playing the game. And he would get all the way to where you have to toss the pies. And that's where he got killed, because everything before that wasn't too hard, but that particular level was very difficult, and I never got past that either. But I used to play this game, and this was actually the first Nintendo game I actually played, because he actually allowed me to play the game when I was 3 or 4, and this was when actually the first video game I ever played. As you can see here, once the time runs out, you're gonna have to really keep button mashing the jump button on the controller. This helps your vehicle maintain its speed, because if you don't, it's gonna slow down. And that time I did not make it to the end. I almost, as you can see, but not quite. If you guys have a Nintendo Entertainment System, I do recommend that you guys try this game out. I also recommend that you guys check out some of the other Game & Palooza videos. We have also Gavite, who is the European Game & Palooza leader. Check out his videos as well. And the Wrestle Vessel, he has a lot of wrestling gaming reviews if you guys are a fan of wrestling games. He has probably, in my opinion, the best wrestling video game reviews that I've ever seen. So they're available on the Game & Palooza channel. Just check it out. And we also have Console Wars, which is comparing, for example, Sega Genesis to Super Nintendo. The same particular game, side by side. Also, leave your comments below, rate the video, and if I do have if you want to request the game, if I do have it, I'll try to record it next and see if I can upload it for you. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and the rest of the video I'm going to let it be just straight up gameplay with no commentary, so I hope you guys enjoy it. And this is Knight Rider for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Once again, this is Game & Palooza, and I hope you guys have a good day.